Welcome. Publish or perish. I will call it make the world know about your research. Publish or perish. This is generally commonly used term to indicate the importance of or urgency of publishing a paper, importance of publishing or publishing a paper. But nevertheless, uh, it's better we use the term make the world know about your research. Make the world know about your research. So when to publish? First, know your university role. If you have registered for PhD somewhere else, if you are registered for PhD, if you are doing the research in an industry, then it will be a different issue. Usually they don't publish, they go for the patents. So if you are assuming that you are registered for a PhD in an university, the first thing you have to do is know about your university rule. What are the rules? What are the rules? Who are the evaluators? Who are the reviewers? So that you have to think. That you have to think. So it takes time ranging from 1 hour to 2 years. You are surprised it is true. 1 hour. There are some journals which can publish in 1 hour also. If you can correctly contact them, they will publish in 1 hour. They will immediately upload your paper in their website. Okay. But of course, they are substandard, but you can still publish. Takes time ranging from 1 hour to 2 years. 2 years sometimes. Even after 2 years, it may not be published it may not be published. It may be accepted. It may be accepted. It is ready for publication, but it is not published. That thing also can happen. Usually in the case of standard journals, SCI journals, it takes 6 years, 6 months to 1 year at least. 6 months to 1 year. What's your ultimate target? So whether you want to build a product based on it, then go for the patent. Otherwise, go for the publishing a paper. Send early, wait more. Usually, what happens is, so if the students do the PhD work at the end, they want now the publications. If they want to go for the SCI journal, it takes a lot of time. So if you want to submit your work after 2 years, then you should send the paper now itself. Otherwise, there is no guarantee that it will be published. It will be published. So send early, wait more, be patient. Where to publish? Be aware of bogus journals. Be aware of bogus journals, not just the substandard journals. As I already told you, 1 hour they may be published, 1 day they may be published, 1 week they may be published. There are such journals also, but at the same instant of time, there are some journals which are the same name as that of SCI journals. SCI journals, standard authentic SCI journals. The bogus journal, same name as that of authentic SCI journal. So be aware of those journals. Conferences, go with the brand name ACM, IEEE, Springer, elsewhere, AdCom. So if possible, publish in the conferences conducted in the IITs, NIDs in India, or standard organizations like AdCom. So choose. Be aware of the UGC rules. Be aware of the UGC rules also. Plagiarism. So always be careful. Don't trouble your guide. If you trouble the guide, he will trouble you. If you trouble the guide, he will trouble you. Okay. So plagiarism is very important issue. Very important issue. Though initially people may think that it's okay. What happens? We will withdraw, but it's not be so simple. Withdrawing, etc. So what these people do is what the authors or what the editors etc. do is they will send the information to the higher authorities. If your guide is in say working in a university, government establishment, and you publish the paper along with his name, then in that case they will send the paper, they will send the plagiarism related information to the concerned government authorities or university authorities. Your guide will be in trouble. It's a big trouble for him. It's a mark on the reputation of your guide. So definitely don't do it. Definitely don't do it. So always check for the plagiarism. Always check for the plagiarism. Even there are different kinds of plagiarism. We have only tools which check the syntax basically. Semantics, etc. are not verified actually. So be careful. Don't do plagiarism. Though we don't belong to a country where English is the native language, but still we have to publish in English. That creates trouble for us. But still we have to learn. Somehow. Can take the help of others also. But technical person who has knowledge. You have to take the help of technical person who has knowledge about your field. Don't go with the English teachers because they don't have knowledge about your field. Always use technical jargon. Don't use synonyms, etc. Most of the people do it. Don't use synonyms, etc. Don't try to include them in quotation marks. So there are tools which can detect it also. So your guide will be in trouble, main thing, and you will also be in trouble. So sometimes if things are not under your control, then you may not complete your PhD also. So be careful about plagiarism. Scopus index journals are there. You can refer to scopus.com. SCI major journals are also there, but sometimes they are called as SCI journals. So, but all the journals listed in this SCI are not standard. I think that they can be called as scopus. But be careful. At least try to publish the journal which is listed in scopus.com or SCI major journal, or if possible SCI journal, expanded SCI journal, or that comes under Thomson Reuters. So try to identify Thomson Reuters list of journals. Usually you can download from the internet. But note that don't go through just the website of the journal. Sometimes they misguide you. There may be wrong information in the site also. So be careful while publishing. How to publish? There are two types of papers: survey papers, experimental papers, or simulation based papers. But note that sometimes people don't consider survey papers. Try to know your say the university rule, and then your doctoral committee there will be doctoral committee in your university. Take their opinion, because different people have different opinion. So always better you restrict yourself to experimental paper, the two journal paper, not conference papers. Conference papers you can publish during the initial stages, but it's not recommended. Survey papers are also very difficult actually, not so simple, but unfortunately people don't consider them as equivalent to experimental papers. In fact, sometimes they are more tough survey papers. Even ACM has one journal called as ACM surveys. So they are difficult, but different people have different opinion. So only thing is, in the case of survey papers, you have to publish it from your perspective, from a different perspective. You have to classify. That is that root word. You have to classify from a different perspective. So it's something like viewing from a watching a movie, if there is a movie, you can explain the movie from different perspectives, from hero perspective, okay, from cinematography perspective, from arts perspective, from music perspective, etc., etc. So you have to, you need to have your own perspective. So format of paper: abstract, keywords, introduction, literature survey, experimentation. Under experimentation, the environment or simulation environment has to be described. Metrics, results, and discussion, they have to be there, and then conclusion, references. These are mandatory things. Mandatory things. The what you have to write under each is similar to the thesis video. You can refer to the thesis format video. Thesis format video, I have explained them. So same is applicable here also. Same is applicable here also. Survey paper, as I mentioned previously. So present it from a different perspective. Classification is the root word. The analogy is cinema analysis. Cinema analysis from different perspectives. Abstract, similarly, similar to the this thesis format. I explained it in detail there, but in brief here also. Background, what you are doing, why you are doing, how you are doing, what are the results, what are the significance. Introduction, background should be there. Motivation part should be there. Scope, assumptions, limitations should be mentioned. Literature review, do the literature review with goal in mind. What is the problem you are trying to solve in your paper? Do the critical analysis, apply the scope rule, mention it clearly. Experimentation, clearly mention the experimentation. What are the environment in which you have experimented? What are the metrics? What are the results, etc. They have to be clearly mentioned. Peer reviewer should be able to regenerate the results, or in fact, any person who has some knowledge should be able to regenerate the results from the content that you present in your paper, particularly in the experimentation section. Clear graph should be there. Don't miss the units. So usually the last point, everybody, 80% of the people miss. They don't mention the units. Check the units. Check the results also. Correctness of the results. Usually the mistake they do is they will consider a ratio of similar terms. Okay, numerator and denominator represent have the same units. Okay, in that case, if the denominator is greater than the numerator, in most of the cases it will be packets delivered by, say, total packets sent. Packets delivered will be always less than the packets sent. So that means the ratio should be between 0 and 1. 0.1, 0.2, like that. Usually some people mention it as 3, 5, something like that. Be careful. Conclusion, answer the so what question, and scope for future work has to be mentioned. References, give full details. One trick or one hint is, if you are sending to a journal, try to find the journal editor. If he has done any work, try to include his papers. Try to include the papers published by different authors in that journal. Standard author papers who have done work in that area, the area which you are trying to publish, those papers are to be mentioned. If you have any information about the reviewers, usually it is hidden, but if you have any such information, then try to mention their papers also. So this is regarding the publishing. So where to publish, when to publish, how to publish, format of the paper, what should be included in each section of the paper. So mind it and do it. So try to publish as early as possible, but of course it should be of good quality. After that you can publish it. So go to the next presentation, last presentation of this short course, research methodology. The title of the next presentation is Defending Your Research. How do you defend your research? Thank you.